and welcome. My name is Brittany and this is Chloe. Today, along with some very special guests, we will be discussing the heavily debated topic and question, should stem cells be used to treat Parkinson's disease?
Throughout our presentation today, we will give you insight into exactly what Parkinson's disease is. We will talk about what life is like for somebody living with the disease and what is currently being done to treat it. We will also investigate what stem cells are, how they can be used to help these sufferers and improve their quality of life. Finally, we'll discuss some of the ethics involved within the topic. So, Brittany, what exactly is Parkinson's disease?
I'm so glad that you asked. Parkinson's is a progressive neurological condition that affects people from all walks of life. It is quite common, with approximately 80,000 Australians currently living with the disease. 1 in 20 of these cases are being genetically inherited. The underlying cause of Parkinson's symptoms relates to a decline in the production of dopamine, a naturally occurring chemical in our body that allows messages to be sent to the part of the brain that controls movement and some forms of thinking. This lack of dopamine means that people can have difficulty controlling their movements, and it can also affect their main senses.
Thanks, Britt. I feel like I've learned a lot. But for those of us who might like a little more clarification, let's take a look at the following video from the TV show Doctors.
I might take this opportunity right now to try to explain to everyone what Parkinson's disease is. It is a chronic and progressive movement disorder. And of course, given that it's a movement disorder, it does start in your brain, and it starts at the level of the brain cells, particularly in an area called the substantia nigra. This is an area of your brain that is very important in terms of controlling movement and what we call in medicine, your motor function. What happens is at the neuron, the level of the cell in your brain, those cells can not only die, but they lose their ability to produce dopamine. Dopamine is absolutely essential, especially when it comes to movement and coordination. And anything that upsets the balance of dopamine at the level of your neurons can create symptoms of Parkinson's. One of the most common things you're going to see with Parkinson's is something that...
Britt, I wonder what life might be like for a Parkinson's disease sufferer. How would having the disease impact their life, and what do you think some of the symptoms might be that they experience?
Well, recently I've been doing some research on this topic. I discovered that Parkinson's disease is categorised by clinicians as a movement disorder, and symptoms may include tremor of the hands, arms, legs, jaw and face, bradykinesia or slowness of movement, muscle rigidity or stiffness of the limbs and trunks, and postural instability or impaired balance and coordination. Parkinson's, it just doesn't affect movement only. Non-motor symptoms such as pain, depression, and problems with memory and sleep can also occur and have an impact on the day-to-day life of a person with Parkinson's. Let's find out directly from somebody who we all know that suffers from Parkinson's what life is like to try and be an able functioning member of society.
Like Spin City. Now though, his future is increasingly defined by Parkinson's disease.
As soon as I wake up, I can't go back to sleep. It starts going. So I would say that's the toughest part of the morning is to kind of go, well, I'm up whether I like it or not, I'm up now. And the other thing that happens to me in the morning, first thing is I get that dystonia, which is kind of cramping, and it can be very extreme.
In a rare interview on ABC, he spoke about the new challenges from something as simple as using a toothbrush.
Because I put the brush down on the countertop, hold it flat, and get the bristles on, because if I hold it, I'll miss it. It's a moving target. But anyway, once I get all loaded up, then I just kind of bring it up to my mouth and then just let it go.
Remarkably, he also revealed that ice skating appears to temporarily block his symptoms, but only while he keeps moving. There's no cure for Parkinson's, but Michael J. Fox has been fighting to change that. He's gone.
So Chloe, are there any current treatments to help with Parkinson's disease? Is there a way that patients can get relief and help?
There is currently no known cure. as the video stated. However, there are many treatments available that can allow a person with Parkinson's to lead a fulfilling and productive life. Treatments can assist in managing your symptoms and providing a high quality of life for many years to come. The current treatment for Parkinson's is a drug called levodopa. Once in the body, levodopa converts into dopamine, replacing the lost dopamine producing neurons. Patients are also treated with occupational therapy, physiotherapy, a healthy diet, and exercise. As a last resort, there is also deep brain stimulation with implanted electrodes. So, I've heard that some research has been done into how stem cells can help Parkinson's sufferers. Do you know much about this? Why is this being promoted and encouraged?
So, as part of our current scientific research and study of the disease, stem cells are being used to grow dopamine-producing nerve cells. It is hoped that stem cells may eventually be able to replace the lost nerve cells in the body with new, healthy cells. It is widely believed that stem cell replacement therapy will prove successful. Trials have been conducted in Sweden, America, and Canada, where dopamine-producing neurons have been taken from human fetuses and injected into animals and humans who currently suffer from Parkinson's. Now, we've got another video to play with you that tells you a bit more about this.
Or politicians. And so I don't need anyone's permission to do that. The point is that the cells that we're not using, that are being wasted, hundreds of thousands of cells that are left over from in vitro fertilization are being thrown away, are being wasted. They're not going to become life. They're not going to become life. They're being thrown away. So in that sense, people say protecting the unborn, but they're going to be destroyed anyway. So let's use those cells to protect the unborn that are going to be born with diabetes, that are going to be born with genetic predisposition to Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, or are going to be injured as children and have spinal cord injury. I mean, that's the pro-life position, because those cells are going to be wasted. That's what people need to understand. Is that where was the outcry when in vitro fertilization was started 20 years ago? Because this has been going on for 20 years. Hundreds and thousands of these cells have been destroyed every year.
Now, for those of you who are following along thinking, stem cells, what exactly are they? We're going to cross over to Amy, who will give us clarification of your curiosity.
Hi, my name's Amy and I'm from the Griffith University Research Labs, currently looking into stem cells and their medical benefits. I'm here to give you some information about stem cells and answer some ethical questions surrounding their use. Let's start with what a stem cell is. Stem cells are the foundation cells for every organ and tissue in our bodies. These highly specialised cells originally came from an initial pool of stem cells formed shortly after fertilisation. As a person grows older, stem cells can be found in many sites of the body, including skin, hair follicles, bone marrow and blood, brain and spinal cord, lung, joint fluid, muscle and fat, just to name a few. Over a lifetime, a person relies on stem cells to replenish and replace injured tissues and cells that are lost every day, including those in our skin, hair, blood, and the lining of our gut. What makes stem cells so interesting to those in the medical field are their two key properties. One, the ability to self-renew, dividing in a way that makes copies of themselves, and two, the ability to differentiate, which means they can divide and produce cells that have the potential to become other more specific cell types, such as tissues or organs. Research is currently being explored as to whether or not you can harness the regenerative potential of stem cells and be able to grow new cells for treatment to replace diseased or damaged tissues in the body of a host or of another person. The two types of stem cells are adult stem cells, which can only give rise to cells of the tissue that it was taken from. For example, blood-forming stem cells found in bone marrow can create red blood cells, white blood cells, or platelets, but cannot generate liver, brain, or lung tissues. These are described as multipotent with stem cells, as they are able to generate multiple cells that are organ-specific. Embryonic stem cells, which are known as pluripotent, are the other type of stem cells. they are able to generate all different types of cells in the bodies. Let's take a closer look at each. Adult stem cells, or tissue-specific stem cells, have the potential to change into a limited number of other cell types, meaning they are specific to one cell type. These stem cells usually grow into the type of cells existing in the tissue or organ they are found in. The role of adult stem cells in the body is to maintain and repair tissue in which they reside. Adult stem cells have been successfully isolated from the brain, bone marrow, eyes, blood, muscle, skin, pancreas, and liver. These stem cells are limited to use in the organ or tissue they were found in, with the exception of bone marrow. Stem cells in bone marrow are able to generate into a variety of cells found in the blood, including red and white blood cells and platelets. Adult stem cells are used for the repair and regeneration of diseased or injured tissues and organs. Stem cells found in the bone marrow, placenta, and umbilical cord have been identified as having the potential to regenerate bone, cartilage, and fat, as well as having anti-inflammatory and immunosuppressive properties. Researchers are currently using these stem cells to investigate possible regenerative therapies, including orthopedic and cardiovascular conditions, suppress graft versus host disease in bone marrow donors and transplantations, and attempt to modify various autoimmune diseases such as multiple sclerosis. Since 2002, embryonic stem cell research has been legal. However, this does not come without some concerns for the ethics involved in such research. The pressing ethical issue often coming into question is that in order to obtain the inner cell mass, the fertilized egg must be destroyed. This inevitably leads to the destruction of a potential human life, which some understandably find distressing. To those in the field, it is considered to be nothing more than a mass of cells with the potential to become alive. It depends on the personal belief as to whether or not the life begins when the egg gains the ability to form an embryo or later in the developmental process. It is important to understand that these eggs have been donated to licensed stem cell research in Australia for reproductive or research purposes only. If not donated, these embryos would be destroyed anyway. Many believe that discarded embryonic stem cells hold promises of sufficient benefits to the future of human health and medical practices. It is important to remember that embryonic stem cells are only to be taken from embryos created in the IVF process, as it is illegal in Australia to conduct any type of research on embryos conceived naturally. Embryos must not be created for the purpose of research. The only source is discarded embryos during the IVF process. Although there are many benefits to the use of embryonic stem cells, it does not come without some hurdles. Issues regarding cell-based therapies and the development of tumours arise in terms of their safety, and that controlled and differentiated cells must be determined to be treatment to be effective. Pure populations of embryonic stem cells in which all non-differentiated stem cells have been removed should not produce tumours, which reduces the risk of this side effect. Another possible hurdle is the use of embryonic stem cells in regenerative medicines. That is, they have the potential to trigger rejection by the patient's immune system, as with any foreign object placed in the body. A number of alternatives have been considered, including patient-specific embryonic stem cells, or better yet, cells that do not trigger an immune rejection. Hopefully this information has helped you to better understand the study of stem cells and their benefits in the medical field. You never know, maybe one day in the future, you two will be working towards the next medical breakthrough.
Amy, sorry. Thank you so much, but we've got a breaking news story coming through. We're going to have to cross to right now.
Okay, let's do that.
Hi, my name is Eleanor Hall, and I'm here to report on an amazing breakthrough in the stem cell research community. Researchers have successfully injected stem cells into the brain of a 64-year-old Victorian man as part of a trial treatment for Parkinson's disease. So far, there's been no drug developed to stop the progression of Parkinson's, which affects 80,000 Australians. The researchers at the Royal Melbourne Hospital say this is because the stem cells were created in a lab, therefore the ethical dilemma of using them was avoided. Usually, the surgical treatment for Parkinson's is deep brain stimulation, with neurosurgeons drilling holes into a patient's skull and putting wires into two parts of the brain. But in the most recent trial, millions of stem cells were injected at 14 sites in the patient's brain. Gary Schneer, a neurosurgeon at the Royal Melbourne Hospital, said that before the human trial, he and his colleagues spent weeks practicing on a 3D model. The challenge was to do it in a way that you minimise the number of times that you pass your instrument through the brain to minimise the damage, he said. So we actually have to plan out a new methodology of doing it. I think we did about 3 or 4 dummy runs before we were confident that we got it perfectly right. He said this, along with that their hope was that the stem cells would boost levels of neurotransmitter dopamine. He said the symptoms are a tremor, rigidity, and being unable to express emotions, which affect also walking. All of those functions are mediated by dopamine. He said that they will monitor these patients to see if they are having any improvement in their Parkinson's symptoms. Dr. Nair said that the trial would also sidestep the ethical dilemma involved in using stem cells because it was using neural cells manufactured in a lab by a Californian biotech company. Stem cells have always had an ethical problem behind it because you traditionally have been getting it from what is called embryonic stem cells, so you need to get it from the embryos that have died. The beauty of the technique that's been implemented in this case is that an unfertilized egg has been activated in a lab, so there are no ethical issues surrounding this to be used as mainstream treatment down the line. Others in the field have taken a more cautionary approach and have questioned whether stem cell-based therapies are really ready for clinical trials. A paper published in March with the contributing author from Melbourne's Florey Institute warned that unless preclinical data and regulatory approvals were obtained, premature trials in humans could tarnish many years of scientific work and threaten to derail this exciting field of medicine. But, in saying this, the trial's researchers said that they had ethics approval, Therapeutic Goods Administration, the TGA, approval, and said preclinical trials were conducted on monkeys as well as on more than 400 mice. This breakthrough is just incredible. Stay tuned for more.
Thank you so much for that important story. I feel like after watching those videos, I just understand so much more. So earlier, we addressed how Parkinson's disease affects those suffering with it. How would stem cell research help to improve the quality of life for a sufferer?
If stem cells were to be used as a permanent treatment for Parkinson's disease, physical and neurological symptoms would minimise drastically. Sufferers would be able to enjoy a much better quality of life and be better able to self-cater for their needs. As the stem cells change into dopamine replicas within the body, the mind will self-regulate. As research progresses further, the great debate over whether stem cells should be used to treat Parkinson's disease will continue. Meanwhile, as educators, we must ensure we are always up to date with the new knowledge and keep ourselves in the know as new research comes to light. So, with all the information that we've covered today, what is your point of view on using stem cells to treat Parkinson's disease?
Well, as future educators, we are strongly for the use of stem cells to help treat Parkinson's. The reasons that we're for this is because embryos are currently being destroyed after 14 days of being stored. They are unable to be used after this point and are more often than not disposed of. The reasons we currently aren't able to use them is because there are so many pro-life activists who believe that it is destroying a chance of human life. If they were going to be destroyed anyway and could drastically improve somebody's quality of life and extend their lifespan, then isn't that also pro-life, just in a different aspect? It is pro-life by allowing them the opportunity to spend more time with their families, to take those long walks that they never could previously, and to do simple, heart-filling activities with their children, such as baking cakes or colouring in.
That's awesome, Brittany. One of my points of view is also that stem cells have the potential to help treat a range of medical problems, which is so amazing. Currently, over 70 diseases can be treated through use of adult stem cells. The benefits of stem cell research has such a great outcome that I personally believe it outweighs the ethical issues involved. When you think of it like this, stem cells have the potential to dramatically improve and change the lives of many. Just think about it, Brittany. If it were one of your boys living with a disease that could be treated through using stem cells, what would you say?
Well, I'm all for stem cell use. There is no other cure for Parkinson's. There's nothing at all. Sure, there are drugs that can help minimize the symptoms, but currently stem cells are the only hope that these sufferers have to lead a fulfilling life that hasn't been cut short due to the disease. And actually, as a backup to our point of view today, I have an interview planned that we had with the granddaughter of somebody who is currently undergoing a trial for stem cell treatment.
Let's take a look.
So we actually get a super special, lucky guest with us today, and this is Brittany. She is actually the granddaughter of the patient we were talking about earlier. So welcome, Brittany. I'm just going to ask you a few questions to give our listeners a bit of insight into your grandfather's case. So first of all, tell us about your granddad. How long has he been suffering with Parkinson's disease?
So he always led a relatively healthy life until about 5 years ago when he started showing initial symptoms of Parkinson's, and upon getting him assessed, it's been further regressing the entire time.
Right. So how are you feeling about your granddad getting this opportunity to use stem cells to help him?
I think it's a fantastic opportunity, and I think that, any benefits far outweigh the ethical concerns that are involved with the use of stem cell research.
Okay, so in saying that, you're not concerned at all about any of the ethical issues that surround the delicate topic, as you know it's very highly debated and discussed?
No, honestly, it's going to allow him to have a longer lifespan and live a better quality of life and have more quality time with his family, then I'm all for it.
That's really lovely. So how exactly do you think it will improve his quality of life?
Well, from the understandings that we have from the previous research that has been conducted, it will minimise the symptoms quite drastically. So he'll be able to do simple things like signing his name or riding a bike or going for a walk and things like that he's been missing out on for the past 5 years.
Has it at all affected any of the relationships that he has with people, knowing that he's getting the stem cell treatment?
The disease itself has also affected his relationship with others than what the stem cell treatment has. If anything, the stem cell treatment is going to improve it, because when he first got Parkinson's, people like me and my siblings, we used to look up to him. He used to be our carer, our protector. He used to look after us. And lately, as he's gotten worse, the roles have had to be reversed, and we've had to start looking after him that little bit more. So he's looking forward to getting some of himself back.
That's really lovely. To finish up, just for our listeners, if you were to give advice to others coping with Parkinson's disease or any other diseases that they might be able to use stem cell research to help, what would you say to them?
Promote stem cell research within your community. Make it a known subject, because not enough people are aware about the benefits of it. And the more people that know, well, it's true what they say, there's power in knowledge, and that's what we really want to put across today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Wow, that was so enlightening.
It was, wasn't it? So, to sum up everything that we've spoken about, as research progresses further, the great debate over whether stem cells should be used to treat Parkinson's disease will continue.
Yes, it will. And meanwhile, as educators, we must keep ourselves informed of this topic and the new research that comes to light, and we must continually educate those around us. So, thank you for joining us on Couch Time today, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye! Bye.